All right. Well, welcome to another edition of our fun interviews we got going on. Carmen, I haven't even figured out what I'm going to call these interviews yet. And I've kind of made a commitment in these. I'm not going to edit them or script them or anything like that because I feel like people right now are craving a lot of reality. But if for someone who's listening and for the very first time, hi, I'm Candice. Candice Smiley. That is my real last name. I get that question all the time, Carmen. It's relatively amusing to me. But for people who are listening in, if you're new to my channel, this is just /Candice Smiley on YouTube. I'm actually interviewing today a number of divas, love that, divas for the network that is with Candice Gish, and they've got Divas That Care. Now, Divas That Care also has a group which is pretty active. It's called the Changemakers Cafe. So if you're a change maker, yes, I'm throwing out all these words because I want to see if someone aligns with that. We're going to have all the links for that. Past stories, other interviews, they'll be in the comments below. Of course, this is my request. Please do make sure that you subscribe, hit the little bell button, which should be somewhere over here or something like that. Make sure that you do that so that you are notified when myself and one of these divas go live. Now, my guest right now is a very dear friend of mine. She's also my hairdresser, which I think every girl needs. I think you need an IT guy. And you definitely need a hairdresser. Those are two things that every girl absolutely needs in life. And so, Carmen, it's an absolute pleasure that you and I get to hold space together. So I want you to come on and share your story and just let us know who you are, that sort of thing. And then I've got a couple of questions for you.
Hi. Oh, thank you very much. And thank you for asking me on here. And I wanted to talk today about my journey and through through the difference between having a job
Mm-hmm.
and having a passion, having something to say. I started. I mean, I've been a hairdresser, like my whole adult life since I was 18, and I
I
love.
thank you. Yes.
Yes, I love the beauty industry, and I love giving people tips and helping them, and being their own psychologist, so to speak, behind the chair.
Mm-hmm.
And it has grown into a lot of things, and sometimes I've morphed out of hairdressing into something else,
Mm-hmm.
and then back into hairdressing. And it's always been a great source of income for me, a great source of connecting for relationships, and just building my confidence and building my skills as a person to be able to communicate with other people. And one of my I've been an entrepreneur my whole adult life too, because being a hairdresser, you can own your own business in so many different ways, whether you actually own the building or not, or you just are working through another salon, but yet you're still contracted with your own business, and doing books and things and being your own janitor and everything
Everything.
all
Yeah.
in one.
Yep.
So what I wanted to talk about was my entrepreneurial experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I've owned many kind of businesses, right from brick and mortar to like a building to a franchise to everything. And I want to say probably about 6 years ago, I ventured into a partnership business with a gal, and ended up wanted to know everything about. It was a new age metaphysical store. So
Okay.
I was broken into it, and it was amazing, and I loved it, and I wanted to learn everything about. I took Reiki classes, I took coaching classes, I took all kinds of classes for crystals, for healing, for business. Business I already kind of knew, but
Mm-hmm.
integrate the business with that subject
Yeah.
was different as well.
Sure.
And yeah, that's where it started my coaching business. Out of there, I flew to LA, took
Ooh.
a coaching retreat, and wow, I never really did anything right in the beginning because I didn't know how. I
Mhm.
didn't know what to do. So I, in turn, hence a few years later, huh, met you and a few other key people, and and grew that coaching business, and
Mhm.
it's been fabulous. I've been able to use it for all kinds of different things, and not just coaching people one-on-one, which is what we think when we're in the coaching realm, but coaching for when I did hair, which came naturally to me, and coaching for just advice, and I want to say advice for
Mhm.
um, for relationships and getting back through your bereavement process.
Mhm.
Because when I was divorced, hmm, it's been a long time. It's been 22 years since I've been divorced. 23, yeah, something like that.
A while.
It's been so long that I don't even remember. Like, but yet you still remember key things, and going through that bereavement process has been a key for so many people, especially right now when the the globe is going through so many changes, and people and their emotions are up and down and sideways, and grieving losses of jobs and losses of their way of life,
Mhm.
and going through that bereavement process and coaching that has been spectacular.
So I guess what you're saying is that, this interview is very poignant for the times. And I think a lot of people are struggling with that. And you and I have talked, about, putting together a course or a program or doing even just a couple of audio series talking about communications and relationships. And I think what's been, coming through for me as you've been talking is that often what we are good at and what we're called to do, and what we're called to do is often our own medicine, right? We heal ourselves by doing that thing that we're called to do, interestingly enough. So how much more powerful is it for us, especially as women, to say, what feels so selfish to say, I want to do this with my life, but that is our medicine. And as we do our medicine, we heal the world, right? That's how it works. What's interesting, Carmen, is I've recently started following a lot of beauty bloggers, on Instagram and that sort of thing. I have never been very good at makeup or any of these things. And um, I was drawn to them recently, and I was wondering why this was. And then I was doing some personal development reading, and it talked about when we prioritize time for beauty, right? We change the mindset, right? So if you focus on what is good and pure, and that's, my Christian upbringing coming out, right? Everything is good, pure, noble. It says, think about these things. And I think the beauty industry, has that element of, we watch girls who do their makeup and I think, wow, that's like a work of art right there. And why was I drawn to it? Well, because I was choosing in other parts of my life to focus on those things I was grateful for, those things I loved. And so it's interesting, as you were talking, you've always sort of doing that, right? You get to make people beautiful. You also get to listen to them. I know I love sitting in the chair and discussing things with my hairdresser. I love that it's you. We have a great conversation, and you're able to give in that way. So how neat is it that you've transitioned and evolved, even, I guess is the word I'd like to use, evolved to now where there's a specific element to your life that is this coaching. And I wanted to sort of take people through that, because I think for a lot of times women won't step into that thing that they're passionate to do or try, say coaching or something like that, because for them it would be an evolution of who they are, right? Well, I'm known as a hairdresser. Why would I now suddenly become a coach? Well, why not? If you're feeling that that's a pull for you, why wouldn't you? So, for someone who is thinking about that, I don't want to, sort of hijack what you want to say, but I think that that's really crucial, because a lot of women who are listening in are grieving, a relationship or a life. I know I did. I had a good couple of days through this COVID thing where I was just mad, just mad, and I had to grieve plans that weren't going to come through, or maybe not ever now. I had to grieve maybe not seeing some people again. I had to grieve some of those things. And so I think right now it's poignant that you are really stepping into your power and saying, hey, I'm here. I maybe can't cut your hair and give you a great scalp massage, but I can apply what I've learned for years of being a hairdresser to helping you grieve through that process and maybe come out of COVID with a much clearer idea of what you want to be doing. And so I know you call your coaching Success Through Vision, because I mean, isn't it interesting how if we can't see where we're going, that can feel a little bit scary, right? So anything else I guess you want to add to that? But it was important for me to sort of weave what was coming through for me for our listeners.
Yes, because sometimes, sometimes what we're passionate about, what we dream about, what we wish we could do, doesn't really come to us because we're busy. We're busy with life. We have jobs. We have like
I need to caveat that comment, because guys, one of the busiest women I know is Carmen. Okay, so if Carmen can find the courage and create pockets of time to pursue her passions, so can you. So that little wish, dream, passion thing that's here that wants to be birthed through you, let it out. For goodness sakes, let it out. Because, you know, you might be like Carmen and glad that she started the process years ago, even if she didn't act on it years ago the way she is now. Because Carmen, I mean, certainly for me, I'm listening to your story and thinking, well, it's perfect timing for you to step into this. And good thing you had a few years to let Coach Carmen, you know, become who you are in essence, so that this transition is an easy one, right?
Yes, I love it. I really do. And to have the foresight to see that evolve through the years is, you know, let's face it, I'm not 30 anymore.
No. It's all good.
You know, yeah, I mean, my kids are grown up and both married. I have two kids, and they both live a little farther away. One lives a couple hours, and one lives about 9 hours away, and with three grandchildren as well. So having so you have a job that you bring home the income and pays the bills, and you can do a few things and go out once in a while, and and then you have this desire, this dream. You think there's got to be something more. There's got to be something more. And even though you like your job, sometimes it's a like, love, hate, whatever relationship that you have with this job. And it goes and you're working for someone else. You're not working for yourself.
For you, yeah. But I mean, I think this is interesting, Carmen, because I used to struggle with that whole thing too. I haven't had a boss in a long time. But what I've also realized recently, because I've been really stepping into my own power and saying, hey, you know, I actually want to write a book. And so I'm prioritizing an hour or two a day to write, to just put the stuff out there. And I went to some of the people that I work with, because obviously, you know, I help entrepreneurs to grow their businesses online. I'm a social marketer. That's what I do. And I love those things. And I do treat them like a job, even though they're my own business. But, you know, it does require hours in, right? It requires hours out, hours in. It requires time and effort. But what was interesting to me, Carmen, is there are things that I don't like to do, tasks in my job, right? My thing that makes the money, pays the bills. I don't like to do them at all. And there are people in my network and in my world who love to do them. And so I think that that's a really powerful piece for those people that are maybe saying, well, I want to transition out of my job, but then, you know, there will be someone who steps up to fill that hole, who really just wants to do the job that maybe you don't want to. And so that might be powerful too, for someone who's sitting there thinking that there might be someone else's dream to have your job. And so if you transition out of it, then nature of who abhors the void will fill it with that person, because you're called to do something else now.
Have you ever seen that, like in a group of people, you see that one person is really happy and bubbly and bouncing around and having a great time, and then the next person kind of standing in the corner, not saying anything, not doing anything, and kind of they don't know how to even act or be in their own skin. And then the next person is angry with you. And then the next person is all about, doing the work and just not focusing on anything else and only worrying about themselves. And, so you've got this great group of diverse relationship people and
Mm-hmm.
and attitudes and everything else. And that when you're sitting in a room with a whole bunch of people that have that different, I'm going to say different vibrations,
Yes.
different vibrations of of like, let's just say. So that one person that's really happy is rolling on a big vibration. It's huge
Yes.
because she or he is happy, she or he is happy in life, and even if somebody says something that's not quite nice or not, it because she's so happy, it rolls off her back, and she doesn't even care and she doesn't even worry about it. And the next person takes it to heart and it cripples them for like a week, and they can't even barely function or
Yeah.
work or anything else. And then you've got the people kind of in between, and rolling around and just kind of, go to work, complain a little bit, and the next day do it all over again. So in the coaching world, you kind of and doing other things like myself as a, because I have a job,
Mhm.
plus I do hair,
Yep.
plus I'm a coach,
Mhm.
plus I'm a mom and a grandma and a wife and a daughter because my parents are still living too,
Mhm.
and then I still have and, and then I still have other things as well. I'm a social marketer as well too, and that's how we met. And a few
Yep.
years back, and I loved it. And it was when Candice rolled into my world,
Oh my
it
God.
changed. It just went boom.
I am a catalyst for change.
Felt
I was talking about this the other day, Carmen, and they were like, but Candice, this. And I said, I make change, okay? I'm a doer, hashtag doer. Smiley women get stuff done. Yeah. So, love ya.
I know. I felt the Big Bang Theory happen. I felt it. and it was amazing because uh, when you have those different diverse people
Hmm.
and 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 you have somebody that is so happy and bubbly and that you can bring people up as well, but not from a uh, pointing fingers kind of way. From a coaching perspective, you can bring somebody up and for their value and what
Yes.
they like, because you have to find out what people like and how they work and how their personalities work and everything else. So it really makes a difference knowing people.
Yeah. I was thinking too, I think one of the so let's say, I'm speaking now to the woman who's thinking, I kind of like Carmen, but I've never had a coach, or coaching is a vulnerable thing. And as somebody who's had more than a few coaches, I'm a coaching addict, I'm a personal development addict. I'm like, if I can get better, I'm all in, let's do that. um but for me, speaking to you, I mean, we're friends, obviously. Part of what's magical about you is you've lived life and you've heard it all, right? Whether it's in the chair, you've also a mom, you live in a small town. So someone can come to you and say, hey, this is kind of my deep dark secret, I don't talk about it, or this is something I want to get over, this is some a fear, this is, you're the person that can really talk somebody through that. Because and this is just me sort of validating what I know of you, edifying you, is there's no judgment here, right? And if I could reach through the camera, I'd say that, like, listen, there's no judgment with Carmen. She's an open book and would offer that same to you. And I think that that's a powerful thing right now, because, well, the world's changing, right? And we are grieving, and we all grieve in our own way, and it's creating a ton of change. I kind of feel like, my life was a fishbowl and somebody put, a piece of cardboard on top and went blip, right? And I'm like, well, there's still water. I'm still swimming. However, everything I thought was here is now, okay, well, that's fine, right? And it's different. And I think a lot of people are dealing with that. I think it's forcing a lot of people to release that which isn't authentic anymore. And I think my challenge to somebody who's thinking, okay, I kind of want to call Carmen and I kind of want to be coached by her, they need to understand that coaching is going to be listening to what they're going through and then really why not use this time of transition to change, right? We only change in one of two ways: repetition, which is going to the gym all the time, right? No, not going in, going to the cupboard. It's funny, as I say, going to the cupboard, I think of your cat, right? Your cat goes to the cupboard all the time. For those of you who don't know, personal moment, Carmen has a cat who's addicted to those little, things that they throw and the cat goes through the wall. Yeah, totally. Love your cat. Anyway, but we change through repetition or we change through shock. And so as a coach and speaking to someone who might want to hire a coach, now is the perfect time, right? You can't work in the same way. You're not able to make money in the same way. Carmen's very fair. And I would say, don't let the fear of what you don't know, right, what her prices are or some of those things, don't let it stop you. Just reach out and have that conversation, because right now would be the perfect time to make a change. And Carmen would be one of the great people that you could reach out to and say, I think I need to make a change in my life. Even if you're like, I don't know what I need to make that change to. As you've heard today, Carmen's probably going to laugh and say, well, and then we'll figure that out. And I think that's, Carmen's just nodding her head. So I mean, Carmen, we've got maybe 5-10 more minutes left. Is there, something you want to leave or share, with our listeners? Because obviously we're going to have links to, how someone can work with you below. As always, we're encouraging you guys, go like and subscribe. If you get value out of this, it means a lot to us. Those of us who are getting in front of the camera, even though we know it adds 10 pounds and all that other stuff, we do it anyway, because, if one of us can do it, then it's so much easier for someone else too. So, you can look in the camera and just, talk to the people who are listening. What do you want to say?
I want to say, reach out, and even if we just have a conversation through Messenger, through Facebook, it's under my name, Carmen Manastyrski-Goebel, and I know it's a mouthful.
We'll make sure there's a link below. Don't worry. There'll be a link below.
And through my business called Success Through Vision. And so that's what I'm talking about. I want to have a conversation with you, with anybody, with everybody about what they want, their vision. Mm-hmm. And that's how I started my business, my coaching business, was doing a vision class. Now, I don't know, a lot of people have heard about vision boards, right? So in making a vision board, sometimes it can make you stop and stare, because you don't even know what you want. You want to win the lotto, or you want a lot of money, or you want a new car, but you don't even know how to get it. And you don't even know how to get that new man in your life, that you don't even, and it's that connection. It's from making that decision of what you want to being able to get it. That's where I come in. And it takes you, just think of walking up the stairs, and every step you take is going towards that goal, that vision, that dream of what makes you happy, what makes you bounce around the room like me, because I'm a bouncer around the room. and what you want. So, and in every area of your life. So not just your job and winning money and having a lot of money and what you're going to do with it, but about your health, about your spirituality, about your physical well-being, about mental well-being, about learning to be happy with what you have and be
Mm,
grateful for what you have, and learning how to connect that and making vision. Because honestly, we've all been creators of our life already
bummer.
in
I mean,
some,
that's a good thing.
right? So then, so then that life and being happy and not always being so grumpy because you have to have a 9 to 5 job and go to work, or a 7 to 7 job and go to
Yeah.
work.
Wait a minute, Carmen. Yeah, exactly.
I just got finished a night shift this morning and had a few hours of sleep, and now I'm here with Candice. It's amazing, and I love it. And I love having this life that I can be able to talk to people
Mhm.
on so many different levels
Yes.
and modalities and ways, and just I am so grateful for this interview and meeting Candice a few years ago. And wow, it's been a journey. It's been a fun.
Hasn't it? Yeah, and, on a personal level, guys, kicking them out. Maybe we will edit that part out. Anyway, but I have a belief that when somebody is going to show up in front of me, that's the time that we need to connect. And you were looking for someone like me, and I was looking for someone like you. And so I think that, again, it goes back to that person who might be thinking about, hey, I want to get some coaching, and hey, I want to do something like that. You're probably watching this interview for a reason. So hint hint, nudge nudge, call Carmen, or message her, like, look below, and go follow along with what she's got going on, because she's got some pretty amazing stuff that is happening, and we're pretty excited about all of that. So I will make sure that you have links and stuff to connect with Carmen. I know that, Carmen, you're doing a lot of big things in terms of focusing on your business and offering. Do you have any programs or anything like that you're running right now, or just staying open to the flow of the universe?
Well, yes, I have a few starting in May. I
Mm,
have my vision class that's
okay.
starting in May.
Mm-hmm.
That let's have a conversation and talk about that class, because I want to be able to offer it to people for like dirt cheap, like next to nothing, because I want to be able to help. I want to be able to serve
Mm-hmm.
that person, and especially now through our times in our the world right now, that I want to be able to know people too,
Yes.
and exchange what they have to know, they have in their brains and their I just love that.
You love
And
connecting with people. Yeah.
being a Reiki master, I have developed the Reiki master level 1, level 2, advanced, and the master through online.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, get a hold of me, and let's talk, and let's take it. And last but not least, I have a bereavement class to get you through the process of of learning to be okay with yourself in the end.
In the end. It's really funny, Carmen. I'm doing these interviews, and um, I do them because I've had this little vision in my head forever and a day. And I'm sitting in these white chairs, and I'm doing, like, an Oprah style interview. And obviously now with COVID, I can do this introverted style, right? So I can hang out in my house, you can hang out in yours. And it's a lot of fun. But it's funny because I started because I enjoyed conversation and creating connection and creating a platform for people to connect. That's why I started as an event planner years ago, is I wanted to help create platforms where people could communicate their message. And it's, of course, evolved to what it is now. And now I use online platforms to help people share their message through various social media platforms. um, I use them to promote my own business, right, as a social marketer, and we got some exciting stuff there. But it's interesting, to be here, and each one of the interviews I've had to think, oh, I could use that. And isn't that the power of, showing up and being vulnerable, and collaboration? We're either student, teacher, or fellow traveler, right? And you know, teachers, right? If you want to really impact the world, go out and teach, right? Go out and share, go out and lead. Leading is not about you. Leading is about service, not servitude. There's a big difference, but about service. And so Carmen, thank you so much for showing up so authentically today to, you know, share space with me. And I'm looking forward to this. So this is another invite from me to you. If you can, you know, be coached by my friend Carmen, do it. And I'm excited, Carmen, that you're continuing to step into who you are in spite of being busy and having a million excuses about why you couldn't. That you just continue to move forward and let yourself evolve, regardless of the fact that people, I'm sure, in your world have often said, well, what do you mean you're changing? And what do you mean you're doing something different? And what do you mean you're adding something else to your already busy schedule that you just, you know, I've heard you be like, well, because I want to. I think we all need to adopt more of that attitude in our lives, myself included. So again, links to connect with Carmen will be in the comments. Links, of course, she's very active on her social media. Go check her out and chat with her about what being involved in one of her courses might look like. She's got a servant's heart, so go and check her out and connect. And again, follow along, like us, share us, love us, subscribe, so that you can be involved when we do more amazing things. So thank you everybody for listening, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Thanks.